What's up YouTube? Steven here from SNS Fitness. How you guys doing? I'm doing freaking incredible. It is September the 15th. I always almost screw that up. Yes, we are the 15th. And it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon right now. Just hit a big leg day. Some 5x5 squats at 270 pounds. If you guys are following the Instagram, you already saw it on the story. And Silas was doing some rack pulls. We had a really good workout. Today is not going to be a workout video, but I do want to talk a little bit more about nutrition. Started to break down how to gain weight or how to lose weight, so that was mostly talking about calories in and calories out and how you can really play with that to try to play it to your advantage with whatever goals you may be wanting to attain. But today I wanted to take some time to try to go a little bit more in depth on what I talked about in my last video. So I want to really look at how many times a day you should be trying to eat and how many macronutrients you want in each meal, so how to divide that properly so that you can feel good and also try to push towards those goals that you're trying to attain. So when it comes to deciding how many times you're going to eat per day, it's really important to understand that, one, it does come down to personal preference. It does come down to how much time you have available throughout your day and when you are available throughout your day, and it also comes down to the science. So there's been multiple studies that have come out that have proven that eating 5 times per day is the optimal amount of times in order to maximize protein synthesis in the body. So what these studies have basically proven is that your body can utilize the protein to activate protein synthesis in the body up to 5 times per day. So that's to say probably every 4 hours you would want to be eating, because protein is a very slow digesting macronutrient as opposed to carbs and fats, depending on the carbs of course. So ideally, to allow your body to really process the protein that you're eating, you want to give yourself, I'd say, minimum 3 hours between every meal, and try not to go beyond 5 hours. That's kind of pushing it a little bit. So that's not to say that you can't try and eat 3 meals a day or 4 meals a day or 6 meals a day. That's why I'm saying that part of it is preference. You can absolutely still make gains in the gym on diets that where you're eating 3, 4, or 5 or 6 times a day. All of the above work. It's just saying that 5 times is the optimal case. So one reason that the amount of meals you're eating would come down to preference would be because some people can't handle a lot of food at once. So it becomes easier for them to split up these the amount of calories that they're eating into smaller meals at a higher frequency. So some people might feel more comfortable eating 6 or 7 times a day, and some people might feel more comfortable trying to eat bigger meals as opposed to the smaller ones and only eating 3 or 4 times a day. I personally would not suggest trying to eat 3 times a day. I think that it's too little and your meals get spaced out a little too far apart, and as well as the fact that you will be probably stuffing yourself quite a bit, which makes it less likely that you're going to want to eat later. I know a lot of people struggle with that, so once they really overfill up, they kind of, maybe they don't feel sick, but they kind of don't get that feeling like they want to eat for quite a while and throughout the day. Okay guys, so real bummer, I unfortunately lost the rest of the clip from this video. It all turned out to be out of focus, and I'm really disappointed in myself for not having noticed that it wasn't on autofocus to begin with. I'm still having sometimes technical issues with the camera. I'm still learning my way around it, so please bear with me guys. I'm hoping to be able to properly pick up where I left off here. So we were talking about having 5 meals per day. So now that we've established that 5 meals per day is the ideal scenario for gaining muscle mass, let's dive a little bit more into how you want to split those meals up and how you want to split your macronutrients up across those meals. So first things first, I myself weigh more or less 175 to 180 pounds. So if I'm dividing that up into 5 meals, I would know that the average is probably sitting somewhere around 35 grams per meal of protein. So I wouldn't necessarily strictly split that up between every meal. I aim for that as an average, but I also have another rule that I like to follow when I'm eating. That rule being that I start my days off with bigger meals and taper off throughout the day. They say eat like a king at breakfast, a queen at lunch, and a peasant at dinner. Something along those lines. So I really try to stick with that rule for a few reasons. First of all, we tend to expend a lot more energy throughout the day when we're at work or we're out and about doing whatever we're doing. We tend to burn up a lot more calories, so we get to use those calories that we're eating earlier on and put them to actual good use, and they're not just sitting inside our bodies storing themselves. And there's also the fact that protein has a high thermic effect. So when you're eating too late and it's close to your bedtime and you head to bed and you've had a lot of protein, it tends to really disrupt your sleep, which can in turn disrupt your recovery, making it inadequate for your following training sessions. And this is the result of the high thermic effect of protein. So what happens is it raises the body temperature, and your body then has to stay active to try to regulate that body temperature while you're sleeping. So you don't really get to go into that full deep sleep that is really required for optimal recovery. I'm not a fan of really counting out all my macronutrients. I think it's a big waste of time. I think it's too complicated, and really I don't have the energy to put into that. I have a lot of other things to do, and so counting every last gram of fat or carbs or protein is really not the first thing on my priority list. What I do try to count, however, is my protein, my calories, and my fiber. These three things are the things that I feel at a minimum I have to be counting to really be able to keep track of where I'm at and if I'm having a proper diet. So how much fiber do I try to eat? I try to stick within the range of 10 grams per 1,000 calories I consume. So if I'm eating my 2,500 calories for my maintenance, I know that I should be trying to get about 25 grams of fiber. Now 25 grams of fiber isn't that much, especially when I'm eating the way I do, which consists of things like protein bars that are really high in fiber. Sometimes I have cereals, I have my oatmeal that's got a lot of fiber, I'll have popcorn that's got a lot of fiber, and especially veggies have a lot of fiber, right? So if you're eating properly, you know you don't really need to worry about it. And this is just another example of why I think it's important that you guys find certain foods that you like and really make sure that you incorporate those into your diet, and if you have to, reiterate them so that they really fit better into your calorie and protein needs. None of this is to say that any of the other nutrients aren't important. In fact, they all play a huge role in the balancing of hormones across your body, right? So if we're not getting enough fat, our testosterone levels won't be as high as they should be for optimal recovery and performance in the gym. I simply don't think that it's all that necessary to be counting out every one of our nutrients. Of course, we do need to be careful not to become deficient in any micronutrients. This can cause problems that we don't necessarily always see on the surface right away, but can develop over time, and we kind of put it aside thinking that we're okay, but then we really don't know that if we had that micronutrient boost, we would feel a whole lot better, right? So it's important that we stay balanced in terms of what we're eating as much as we can. But I just don't believe in taking the time to count out every nutrient. Our body has a nutrient sparing effect, so that is to say that if I'm having a lot of protein and I'm having a ton of carbs, but I'm a little bit low on fat, my body's going to go ahead and reach for those other nutrients to perform the tasks that the fat might have been used to perform primarily. So it might not do it as efficiently, but it will get it done anyways. Not only does this way of eating keep your life simple and mostly stress-free, which is what we're looking for, but it also allows you to have a lot of leeway in terms of how you're going to create your diet. You can really mess around with a lot of recipes that you've already got and change it, some simple things out to simply have some lower calorie dense foods, and also maybe use stuff like artificial sweeteners or 0-calorie sauces. Stuff like that are not things that we should really be afraid of. I know there's a lot of people out there who will say, oh, you're going to get cancer from it, but trust me, the risk versus reward is really, it leans towards the artificial sweeteners. Oftentimes we like to get super scared, and so you'll hear people say that they'd rather have, for example, a regular pop as opposed to a diet pop. I'm not a regular pop drinker. I didn't used to drink pop really, but I started to a while ago, and I always drink diet. I'm not afraid of the artificial sweeteners giving me cancer. I think that the likelihood of that is probably less than me getting into a car accident, right? Or catching cancer from the sun. We all take risks all the time, and thank you, Greg Doucette, for really putting this out there and making it very clear that it's important that we stay within a certain body fat range. The real risk really lies in being overweight and especially obese. There your chances of developing other diseases such as coronary heart disease and high blood pressure and all these sorts of things, diabetes, those risks are really high when we're not eating properly and staying at a certain body fat range. Things like that we really want to make sure we are avoiding as much as possible. So for that, we try to eat within a certain caloric range. That's gonna wrap up today's video, guys. This has been like my 20th take of this whole thing. I kept on having a bunch of difficulties, whether it's been not recording, camera card was full, out of focus, all sorts of things was happening over and over, and I feel like a big dummy for it. All that being said, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative and can take some things and incorporate it into your everyday life, and hopefully you can be healthier for it and feel better for it. Please drop a like down there. Leave me a comment letting me know what I did right, what I did wrong. Say hello, leave me some criticism, say whatever you want. It's all really appreciated. Hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to go follow us on Instagram. Link for that is down in the description below. Just one click and you're there. We do try to post more regularly now. We were inactive for a while, but we're really trying to put in an effort to keeping you guys informed and maybe giving you guys even some tips and tricks here and there, or just showing you guys what we're doing on the daily basis. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more. I'll be back soon with some more videos.